Got your water. Got your toast.
I got my toast.
She's got her toast.
It don't feel gross when you eat
between her toes. Let's eat some toast. Come on, let's eat some toast.
I just had a vision of you and I starting a Minnesota burlesque show. We're just like kicking, wearing corsets made of fucking duck hair.
Eating toast. We're wearing like sexy lingerie, but you can see our like granny panties and like sports bras underneath them. We're eating toast.
We've got moose antlers on. Have you ever been to a caribou?
Is that a restaurant? Is that some type of cafe or?
It's the cabin equivalent to Starbucks.
Oh.
It's cabin themed, and I didn't realize how weird it was till I didn't live in Minnesota anymore. And they're on every corner in every city of Minnesota.
Caribou. Well,
you can get your campfire mocha. I used to work at one.
Oh, you were a barista at the Caribou?
Bitch,
Yeah,
I was a barista. That was my first job.
I'm proud of you for taking that initiative.
Thanks.
Getting into the Caribou. Do people tip well in Minnesota? Yeah.
Yeah, they tip well.
Yeah.
Guys, if you hear barking, it's Murphy, and he's dying. This is dying in the
Ever
background.
since we cut his feet off, he hasn't been able to recover. And I mean, it sounds bad, but it's a lot better than it sounds.
I didn't mean to totally skip the introduction, but you and I just get right into it. What's happening, everybody? This is Whitney does.
Hey there, this is Rubbish Cook. We're over here doing our podcast.
And you came to this flap of reality to peek under it and hang out with us. So welcome.
It might smell a little musky. It might be a little moist, but it's only because we've been dancing around.
That's true. It's only because we've been cutting off my dog's feet over and over again. This mic stand is a reminder of how much I hate Guitar Center.
Am I talking into it right?
You see this like upside down butt? That's, I don't know.
Oh, that is a butt.
Yeah.
I'm talking into the butt.
She's talking into the butt. You know, our feedback is we can't talk about butts and poop that much, which is like
bad feedback. Really bad.
Maybe we can dedicate 5 minutes a podcast to only just releasing our soul sphincter.
You said release. We have to make poop and fart jokes.
I know. Maybe that's not what the people want, but it's what they need.
If it's coming out of my mouth, it's what they fucking need.
If it's going in my mouth, it's coming out of my butt.
If it's going in my mouth, it's coming out of my butt, and you're going to hear about it, all right? Period.
That's a tagline to our podcast. What goes in your mouth comes out your butt.
And you got to poop your shit.
You got to poop your shit. You got to poop. Do we have any emails from our Cosmic Church 69?
I'm not sure we gave it to anyone yet.
Oh, yeah. Shit.
We miraculously have like 12 emails. People just knew.
Okay, so yeah, we forgot. Well, I've been having a lot of issues exporting this last podcast because which
gives me pause.
I think I have so much mental anguish about it that everything is responding to it because I export a different podcast every week. I have no issues exporting it. This one is freaking not working with me.
So here's my take on this situation. You've got a lot of guardians swirling. And they won't leave her alone, which is cool. Like, thank you. But also, she needs to do her own thing.
I know.
And maybe they're picking up on your anxiety about getting it out there. And they're, like, trying to help by postponing it for you. But they're really not. Or maybe you just need to poop it out.
Maybe they're doing that to be like, yeah, do you want this? Like, do you want to release it? And it's like, I want 20 people to watch it. That's what I want to happen.
So 20 of you, we hope you're watching it. We hope you're enjoying it.
There's like 30 views on the first video that I have not released. I don't know. I gave it to 2 people.
Whoa.
And I don't know if they're sharing it maybe.
I gave it to J-Rock.
Oh, okay.
But he wouldn't share it.
I don't know. Doesn't matter. Maybe
out
like
there now,
that's
babe.
the YouTube execs. Did you know they're giving out grants between $50,000 and $300,000 to podcasters?
What do we need to tell them in order to get mun?
I don't know. They probably need a sacrificial lamb of our psyche before.
Do I have to get breast implants?
Do I have to get
Next on our podcast, we're both getting implantations.
As long as they come with an extra memory card slot and
I want mine to be solar powered. Is that okay?
solar power inflated.
Yes, and you can change the inflation. I
Right.
want to have different levels.
Yeah,
Like sometimes
some days you don't want to be looked at.
exactly, you want to fly under the radar, and some days you want to,
Whip it
stand
out.
tall.
Stand tall, soldier.
Walk tall.
Could you imagine sitting this straight all the time? Do people do this?
I try. I really try. My mom always did this thing where she'd come up behind me and straighten my shoulders back, like pull them. And of course, at the time, I fucking hated it.
Whenever I gotta line them. Stand
Oh, good,
up
they're
straight.
playing.
Yeah.
They're not moving.
God damn it.
Well, today is Tuesday, March 8th,
Mm-hmm.
1973, JK, 2020.
Today's my fucking dad's birthday.
Today's your dad's birthday?
No, that's next month.
What the fuck?
I was like, oh yeah, it's April 8th. I was like, it's not April yet.
It's March.
It's the March.
It's the March.
It's Smarch, lousy Smarch.
Smart,
weather.
lousy Smarch weather. Do not touch Willie. Good advice. And then Willie dies. And he haunts all the kids in their dreams. Treehouse of Horror, folks. Get on my level. Get on our level. It's not a Simpsons podcast, I promise.
It will turn into that sometimes. 100%.
Can't help it. It's on my mind.
All right. Is it Megan's corner?
Should we? I mean, I have some loose topics that I brought to the table. I thought you sounded like you had some.
I do have one. It grinds my fucking gears.
Do you want to get
Grinds
into
my
your gear
gears.
grinding?
I'm part of a Facebook group. I don't remember what it's called. It's like a mom group. And someone was looking for a babysitter or a nanny. And there was just a part of their post that really made me mad for the rest of the day.
Ooh, what was it?
And I don't do that very often. Nothing really gets
She was
under my
raging.
skin.
Raging Cajun.
It was just this little quote. I live in a safe, gated community.
Huh.
Safe fucking gated community. What is this, Palestine?
Weird. Huh.
And then I started thinking about gated communities,
Yeah.
and I fucking hate them.
Yes. I live in a gated community. If you think about it, my
You
shitty
do.
apartment complex has a gate, and the one that I lived,
What's it protecting you from?
I think it's helping our cars not get burgled.
Does it?
How am I to know?
I don't know.
Well, when I lived outside of a gated community, my car got burgled.
When I lived in a gated apartment complex off of Oltorf.
Mm-hmm.
There'd be a group of people waiting outside the gate, and then it would open, and then
that's
they'd
the
all
thing,
walk
like,
in.
People can just follow you in,
Yeah.
or like if they're driving in their car. It's not like you can like stop driving in to prevent them from entering.
Or they can just climb over the fence.
It's just a level of deterrence that would stop the laziest thief, you know? So maybe, I don't know, but you took offense.
I did take offense.
You thought that they were sort of lumping everyone outside of their gated community into some mongrel status.
I don't think I was thinking of apartments with gates. I think I was thinking of big multi-million-dollar mansions with a security guard who only let certain people in, and how, gated communities, I looked this up,
Yeah, yeah.
originated in 300 BC. This is, kings had them,
Yeah,
had
yeah.
towers. And then I was thinking, I was like, man, they're to keep people like me out because fuck you. And then I'm like, well, but I wouldn't feel this way if you didn't have that.
I mean, the whole concept of fucking property and having to protect your property, it's gosh, it's such a bummer. It's like Mother Earth doesn't have any boundaries. She's everywhere. But I don't know if the concept of stealing really applies in nature, because everybody's got to make it work however they can, and that includes stealing and pulling hair and biting.
I just know when the world ends, I'm going straight into a gated community.
Of hell.
So I was thinking about gated communities and how they piss me off, and then it reminded me of a good bar story. You don't know this story, and neither do you guys. Dude, so I had to hit up Ricky. I was like, did this happen this way? You know, because that was probably 3 or 4 years ago now. And he's like, yeah, no, this and this happened. I was like, okay, sick. So I worked at a Japanese whiskey speakeasy that's buried in a hotel, a fancy hotel off South Congress. And it was tucked away. It was hidden. Whoever wound up there was supposed to be there. Was kind of how it was. Mm-hmm. One night, the bartender from downstairs, there's an elevator that goes up to our bar. So he goes up the elevator and he's like, you guys, there is a freaky person on their way up here. And I was like, cool. Why are you telling me not your manager or something? And he's like, well, I don't know. We just bought everybody at the bar downstairs, which had like 25 seats, a drink. I just looked him up and he's on parole for for 3 murders. So he's like, you have a serial killer coming up here. Boy. He just leaves.
Wait, what?
And Ricky and I were like, we're busy. We're like, okay, maybe he won't come up here.
Thanks for the heads up, dude.
This dude walks in and Ricky and I turn around. Ricky also is intuitive and super sensitive, I would think.
Nice.
He's tuned in. We both turn around and we see this guy walk in. And he's like, he's disheveled. He's got this leather jacket and he is just radiating weird energy.
Yikes.
And he's got a chiseled jaw. He looks like a movie star. Like, it's weird, right? And he's like kind of looking around.
Was it Matthew McConaughey?
Yeah. He came in several other times. But no, it wasn't him.
Tangential. Please proceed.
He pulls up a chair and sits in the pass. So the pass, for those of you who don't work in the industry, is like where servers come and pick up their drinks. It's how we leave the bar. It's not a place where you put a chair unless you're making a fucking unless it's a cry for help.
Unless you specifically want to be in the fucking way.
He wanted to be in the way, and he sits down and he orders a vodka soda and he's talking to himself.
That's a serial killer drink.
It is. I want no flavor.
Bland. I just want to get fucked up.
8 of them.
Oh, Jesus. Jiminy Jellicers.
He's sitting there talking to himself loudly, kind of like violently flailing a little bit. And Ricky and I are scared out of our mind. We're scared out of our mind because now we want to Google this guy, get his credit card, get his name, find out who this guy is. But now it's really obvious because the bar was super, super small. There was like maybe 6 seats at the bar or whatever. And I'm walking behind him because that's where he's sitting. And I look down at his phone and he's texting someone over and over and over again who's not responding.
Oh boy.
Like it's just his message bubbles all the way up and he's scrolling through them.
He just got out of prison and he's like trying to link up with someone and they don't want any.
My first thought was he's trying to text the person he killed.
Because he forgot he killed them?
I don't know. It's just being weird. I fuck if I know.
Please come back to life. I'm so sorry that I killed you.
Hey, babe. So this leads back to gated communities, I promise. Find out this guy is a rodeo star turned gated. He made gates for gated communities. So he became like a millionaire selling this false sense of security. Lived in one, obviously. He lived in a gated community. And he flat out murdered his wife and her 2 daughters.
Oh my gosh.
While inside the gated community.
There you have it, folks.
There you have it.
It happens on both sides of the gate.
Oh, 100%. Like, this dude had a rap sheet. But you know what, Megan? He grew up in a Christian home on a ranch. So he's fucking sane as hell. You know, and then they pegged the woman. She grew up without a mom.
Oh, she's cursed. She was doomed to die from the very beginning.
Yeah, there's like all these eyewitness testimonies of her friends being like, he would call me when we were hanging out. That's them right now, ladies and gentlemen.
The call's coming through, and he looks like a rodeo clown.
I know that. I was just like, somebody who starts a fucking company like that is 100% insane.
Yeah, the association with gates, but him being unable to like gate his own like primal murder desires. He's ungated. He cannot be gated.
Last I read, it's a cold case. They never convicted him because he's a rich guy.
Not surprised. Not surprised. Bummed, but not surprised.
It was a 14-year-old girl, an 8-year-old girl, and the mom. All fucking shot in his house. And it wasn't his fault. Isn't that weird?
What?
Yeah.
I fucking hate that. Man. The topics that I wrote down are like mathematics.
Yeah. Oh.
Systems within systems.
Oh, there's a warning.
Yeah, so this morning when I woke up, I was like, oh, I'm going to prepare for the podcast. Let me glance at the news, see if there's anything that happened recently that I could riff on. And I look at the headlines. I'm like, oh yeah, this is why I don't look at the news. Fuck this world. I want to live in my own. I know I need to come visit here to like interact with my friends and loved ones, but nobody murders anyone up here, and nobody's getting murdered.
Unless you're lying right now.
I got no fucking reason to lie to you, or you, or you, or you,
or me,
or you.
Suffering's the reason why we came here.
I feel like suffering through the challenge of learning is different from suffering because someone wants to murder you.
Yeah, or what just popped into my head is I was standing at the foot of the main cathedral in Mexico City in the square. Can't remember the name right now.
Is it like Sagrada something?
I'm not going to embarrass myself. I'm just going to the iconic,
there's
gigantic
a church
one. And I stood at the bottom and I was like, this just fucking reeks of conquest, right?
Oh yeah.
So definitely. I started looking up why they built it and this and this and that. And they were describing the Mexican rivers of blood from just all the sacrifice.
Oh. Like they were trying to dry up the rivers of blood by giving them a different religion to?
They thought it was barbaric, yeah, just over and over again. And that was the bit that I read, and I was like, ooh, that. But they wanted to be sacrificed. That was an honor according to them.
Did they always want to be sacrificed?
I'm sure some of them were like, oh, I'm not done with this soccer game. And they're like, no, you gotta go.
I just got a girlfriend, and it's going really well. Yeah. Can we put this off just a few months so I can see where this goes? No? Okay. Yeah. I mean, that brings me to the idea of magic and like what we can do as people to affect our reality. Mm-hmm. Like, does sacrificing someone and like pouring their blood on our bits do something for us? That
something evil
supercharges us.
It beckoned conquistadors to come squash your shit.
Oh, wow. Do you think it was like a self-fulfilling prophecy? Like their behavior somehow opened up a portal?
I always wanted to know, in my diving into magic and the mediumship realm, they talk about how Native Americans understood how to travel different dimensions and do all this sort of stuff, and I was like, do you think they knew that we were coming?
Huh. I mean, wouldn't they have prepared better if they knew?
Most people in North America, Central America, and South America died from just mere contact to farm animals.
Because of the diseases?
I don't know how much you could have prevented it without. But then again, like, what we know as Mexican culture is natives mixing with Spaniards.
Right.
So, I mean, some of them survived and a lot of them didn't.
Mestizos. The mixture. I don't know if I brought this up last time, but the mixture is how I get my kicks. I love it when things blend. And it's always
future.
like it's through like violent clashes of cultures. It's through friendly sharing, like in communities. Like whenever we get together and I'm like, I really like this sort of, you know, layout of this, and you're like, well, what if you twist it and turn it and make it like this? Then we get like this perfect synthesis that's better suited, and it's because we work together. But I guess the mixture happens whether you want it to happen or not. So sometimes there's like
a gated community around it.
Violent outcomes of the mixture. But it also makes me think about like fusion food and fusion cuisines. And it brings me back to the topic of authenticity. Because fusion, I think, is the opposite of authenticity if you think in like the culinary mindset. But I don't know. I think it's the truest way that we know how to forge ahead.
I think you and I should go to those border parts of the world. What is it? France, there's like a sector there that Germany, like Alsace meets
Benelux,
and then
Luxembourg.
The fucking food there is all of it like combined. There's a India's massive, so I can't remember what border town that I saw a brief documentary on, but I was like, the food there must.
Can we go to India, please?
Yeah,
let's go to. I feel like I would want to go near Thailand. Like India, Thailand.
Do you imagine like, the food there?
Masaman curry.
Ooh.
God, fuck me up. Yeah, definitely. I also wrote down like special meals, like birthday meals. Like a birthday is all about that person that day.
You should eat your placenta.
You eat your placenta in the little peel like you do every year. But then you also like, I saw Lucas had like a big T-bone steak and a lobster tail. Like surf and turf was his idea of birthday meal. I don't know. Some people may want a big giant burrito that they can club themselves over the head with and then jam on. But then I was also thinking like holiday meals, last meals. Like the special occasions that determine the food that we put on our plate. I don't know. That I like thinking about those kinds of things because everybody's birthday meal is going to be different. It's just like, what do you want for your birthday? You know, what's your shit? Dorito powder?
Do you know this? Will they go get, if you're in prison and you're on death row, will they go get?
That's what I've always been led to believe, and like
they'll make it happen.
Popular culture, it's like, oh, this is his last meal. It's got like chocolate pudding, lobster, mac and cheese. It's like everything that they want because they're about to die. But how could that be true?
186 people, innocent people, have died on death row, ladies and gentlemen.
Today?
Not today, just in general. Those are exonerated people that they found out were innocent.
Oh, jeez. Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Where am I today?
She's thinking a lot about death and murder.
Yeah. Yep. Well, sounds about right.
Our life streams do come to an end, but is it a terminal end? Do we get to go for another round? What do you think?
I think we're all striving for this to be the last round, and if you want it to be the last round, you got your work cut out for you.
What does it take? And then what part of us is permanent?
I've always wondered what part of us is permanent because I've been thinking a lot about the quantum realm in terms of ghosts and the paranormal, and I'm like, is it the memory? Is it a part of them? Did they not reincarnate? Like what aspect of them is staying back, and maybe there's multiple versions of them. Did
you ever see the movie Altered States?
No.
William Hurt. So the concept is like, or the premise is, I think he's a college professor and he's like dabbling in psychedelics or maybe anthropology or something. And he takes acid and he goes in the sensory deprivation tank, and it like unlocks like not personalities, just like ancient memories in his DNA. So it's interesting to think about like the energy of thoughts and whether the concept of permanence really applies in the quantum world.
I doubt it.
Because electrons and positrons and shit are just like popping in and out of existence. Like maybe going to another dimension and doing something over there and then popping back in. And then you have two identical, the same particle in two different places at once. So I feel like everything that we think we know is just not applicable.
No, because
to that realm.
They say we're overdue for another absolutely
oh yeah, the big one.
The big one. You know, the last one that happened was we found out we revolved around the sun and not the other way around.
Right.
So that rocked everyone's world, and whatever's about to happen next is gonna rock everyone's world.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's gonna obliterate what we thought we knew, and that's gonna
like
be really
these
rad.
leaps forward that we make in our cognition. Like,
that's when we'll stop killing each other.
we hope.
Yeah, I mean, when we stop getting so obsessed with this fucking puppet meat suit, it's like, stop obsessing.
It's hard because the only way that we can experience reality is through our wretched meat suit and on our five senses.
Unless you just do more drugs.
Do more drugs and
or
explore in your
drugs.
mind. I've never done DMT. I've done acid. I've done psilocybin mushrooms. And I like the way those make me feel. But I didn't feel like I was closer to... Actually, with acid, I felt like I understood. Like, if you look up...
How much acid did you take?
I don't know. I was in high school.
Okay. Was it a lot or not a lot? I mean...
1.
Yeah, that's not a lot. Take 3.
Oh my God.
And you and God will be hanging out drinking coffee.
She's a psychedelic priestess.
I only would ever do it on my birthday.
Oh, that's interesting. I had a little custom of doing mushrooms on my birthday for a little while because it feels like the ultimate vacation.
Well, it's like you're diving in. And I remember being on acid on my birthday in a hotel, and my aunt sent me, because she's tapped in too. Oh, she's so tapped in. It's great. The moment she sent me a picture of me as a baby started crying, because that's what happens when you're on acid. All of your senses are getting more blood flow. And I started crying because it felt like I was being reborn, or like I was connecting with that part of myself.
Oh, yeah.
In the dark. It was like no lights are on and there's just a baby crying in another room.
And what did you do with that? Did you feel at peace?
I processed it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It felt like a rebirth. It felt...
I'm right where I need to be.
Dude, there's across the street from the hotel, there's some sort of museum. I don't remember what kind of museum, but it looks like a fucking UFO. Because it's like this big silver dome, and then there are all these rainbow lights kind of around the entire thing. And when you're on acid and you're like, what's outside? You're like, oh my God.
She was about to get taken home.
I almost pissed my fucking pants because I'm like, it's actually there.
They're here.
I'm like,
they're here. What am I gonna do?
I'm like Googling it. I'm like, yeah, that would be right outside my fucking room right now. It's like, oh fuck.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
That reminds me of the time Lucas and I did acid across the street from the White House. I loved being like, balls
1700
deep.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I loved wearing my fucking white I have a powdered wig.
Were you demonstrating?
I like would peek out the window and you'd see people. There's people on top of there, whatever, snipers,
Yep, making sure when the dog goes outside, nobody snatches him.
That's the gated community.
Yes.
And I would peek and I'd see them. I'm like, oh my God. Whitney, they can't see you. Yeah, you're right. Okay, I'm gonna close these curtains more and
you're just gonna get picked off. She opened the curtain again. I'm going for the kill.
who is that? There's just like a little.
I have a clear shot, and I'm going to take it.
Lucas, my third eye's opening.
Fucking dead as a doornail.
There she goes. Her third eye opened too quick.
Dude, I watched this movie this past weekend called Blood Simple. And it's like a Joel and Ethan Coen brother movie from 1984.
Dang, so
maybe one of their
before a
first.
budget?
I'm not sure. It was such a mind fuck, because at first I thought I knew what was going on and I thought everybody was an idiot, but then I was like, oh wait, they're not, I don't, what the fuck? But there was a lot of like, turn off the lights, we're gonna get shot through the window, like that kind of thing. Like, is someone after me? Is someone gonna come kill me in my sleep? Is someone gonna shoot me through my window? It was like a very sordid kind of affair situation with a private investigator. So there's a lover there. Oh, it was like young Frances McDormand. So like she was probably 19 or 20 or so, I don't know how old she is, but she was so young. And I don't know where I'm going with telling the story about this movie, except that you were getting shot through a window and I was thinking about all these.
How would you rate the movie?
Shot. I don't usually watch like crime thriller kind of things. Like
you and I are on the same wavelength. This is just mostly sci-fi.
Right. And so, I don't know, it was stimulating and it was interesting, and I liked the different sort of cinematography, like shots and stuff. I was like, ooh, that's interesting, that looks cool. So I feel like I gained from it. Would I watch it again? Would I recommend it? Sure, I'd recommend it, but I wouldn't watch it again. Yeah, I usually watch my favorite movies 1,000 times, but this one didn't make the cut. Too violent. If it's gonna be violence, I want it to be animated. Thank you.
Animated violence
or
for rubbish
science fiction violence.
Yeah.
As long as I can sort of separate it out from the reality that I live in. Bob's your uncle.
Yeah, I watched. I love my husband dearly. I watched.
But
no buts. That was just a statement before I say this. I watched something really fucking horrific on Facebook. I don't even know why. Obviously, you birth a brain out of your vaginal canal and you see things differently. And it was an FBI raid of them finding an 8-year-old girl. And it was just like so fucked up. And I was sick after I watched it.
Physically ill.
Yeah, and I told Lucas like, oh, who made you watch that?
What? Was he blaming you for your own misdeeds?
He at least flicked me out of my PTSD of watching a absolutely traumatic, horrendous thing on the internet.
He was like, get a grip, Mom.
Why did you watch it? I don't know. I'm never going on the internet
Control what's going into your brain a little better.
Yes, I did feel like a significant amount of spiritual XP got docked off of my brain for indulging in, oh, was this a no-knock warrant? Okay. Oh.
Yikes. Yeah, I want to bring more joy into your life. I want to send you links of happy things.
What happens when you leave, Megan.
I don't want you to do this.
You know what?
There are things to pay attention to.
Something. You know what? It's I don't know what's happening, but I'm having a realization.
She's growing.
Oh God.
I saw a bunch of silly motherfuckers outside picking up trash, and I was like, damn, I should be picking up fucking trash.
Dude, there's a lot of trash around here. We could pick up some trash.
Let's just grab a bag one day and go chat and pick up trash. I feel like we could make jokes off of the trash we pick up too.
I found just the other day there was a Valentine's Day card to someone's daughter, and it was just like fun to read. And
aw, you get to glimpse into someone else's life.
Love you, honey, Dad. You know, just like,
oh, that's so sweet.
Now it's on the street.
Why did she throw it in the street? She didn't appreciate it.
Wait, that's the Whitney side of things. We gotta go back to the other. Yeah, we should go pick up trash.
Youth is wasted on the young. They don't appreciate anything.
Do you miss being young?
No, because when I was young, I didn't know I was young. I thought I was just being held back. I thought that I just couldn't have the things that I wanted because I wanted them so immediately and like right now I want this. But I did not have any wisdom to sort of moderate.
Imagine if you had a council of elders, though, that you could have fucking, like... Or would you still...
I feel like there's always a story where the elders advise, like, don't do this,
and
Mowgli.
Then you go do it anyways.
And then you're like, well, you guys don't know as well as I do. This is going to be great for me.
It's the rite of passage, for sure.
And then, you know, you go out, you venture out, you hurt yourself usually. You have to do something very difficult, and hopefully you survive. And then, yeah, that's the coming of age.
And then you die.
And then you come back. You come back to the village. You've got the wisdom. You eat your cake, and then you have it too, because you get married and you have a family, and that's it.
There's more cake.
You tell your stories to your grandkids.
That's what I tell my future kids. Come on down, there's cake.
I will give you cake. All kinds of cake.
We can make any kind of cake you want.
Oh, future kids. Have you been thinking about Prometheus?
I have to get comfortable with the idea. It took several years for me to get comfortable with the idea of having Ruby, so I gotta get... Then she does really cute stuff, and you're like, oh, you could have more of this cute thing in your house, like squeezing you, they tell you how much they love you all the time. And
is it true that the first one is like the hardest? Because
God, I feel like that.
In my case, I was a very easy, and I'm not tooting my horn or anything, my mom could corroborate, I was a very easy kid, very easy to get along with, very easy to just sort of plop down and entertain myself. So I feel like if you have another kid, Ruby's gonna raise him. You don't have to do anything.
I was just chatting with my sister-in-law, and her first one was very easy.
Oh.
Her second one is a challenge to some degree.
Oh. Well, that totally shits on my theory.
It's just
everybody's different.
Bunch of eggs, you know?
Everything is different. So you think there's a lot of personality imbued in the eggs? Each one is different?
Yes.
Whoa, that gives me shivers. That's fucked. Every time I have a period, I lose someone.
Yeah, I know. I've thought that too.
I'm losing someone right now into my cup. I've got it in the cup.
Diva cup.
Shoot.
But I think side tangent, think of all the miscarriages that led, like there was miscarriage before my dad. My mom was an accident and almost died at birth.
I mean,
my mom had, there's just some stuff. I mean, it's purposeful, it feels like.
It does feel purposeful. Speaking of which, I met this lady on the flyaway bus. Her name is Karen.
Yeah.
So I was trying to get back to the airport so I could catch my flight home, and I was running a little behind. And she was sort of consoling me and saying like, oh, you'll make it, whatever. And then we sat on the bus sort of across the aisle from each other, and she was just telling me everything. She was like, I'm going to Chile to help my goddaughter give birth for the first time. She's 44 and she doesn't have a partner. She did in vitro egg and sperm because her goodies were not viable anymore and she didn't have anybody.
But her womb was.
Yeah, we hope. I mean, it's happening. So she's going to Chile for a month to take care of her goddaughter, but that she had just got back from DC visiting her 92-year-old father who lives in like some high-end swanky assisted living thing in DC. She just recently got divorced from her wife Sharon of 23 years, and her mom and her sister just passed away, which is why she's stepping up to take care of her dad.
The great shaking of the cosmic rug is happening.
Yeah, and it's like this lady she's lived in LA and Altadena for like 52 years, so I don't know how old she is, but she's been through the ringer multiple times, and it doesn't stop.
Nope.
It doesn't stop. You just have to find the peace inside yourself and like come back to that center whenever you are rocked by.
Well, and that center's always gonna change.
Yeah, it's like a never-ending. Well, it ends. Luckily, it doesn't. It doesn't. I think it ends. But I don't know. She struck me as someone significant to have met at that moment. I don't know. I just, like, we hugged when she got off at her terminal. And when I was like, I don't know what terminal I'm at, she was just like, bus driver, what terminal is Spirit? Like, she was just like immediately like momming me, and I was like, I love this lady. Fuck Sharon for breaking up with Karen. Karen is a good lady.
20, I mean, if it's time to go, I guess it's time to go.
Everybody's got to follow their heart, and if somebody's suffering in a relationship, then you have to speak up. You can't just do it for someone else.
I had a flashback to yesterday while you were talking. There was somebody called Cleopatra the Alchemist.
Not Miss Cleo, call me now for your free psychic reading.
There's a documentary coming out about her. Just so you know.
We're going to live stream watching it.
Should. We'll have a little watch party. And let's pause for a second while I find this quote, because it talks about, it should be.
What's her name? Cleopatra? Isn't that a little shrine?
Oh, God.
Little
Thank
RV
you. Thank you,
used?
phone. Contributions to alchemy. She talks about the Ouroboros. Okay, here it is. So, an example of the imagery is the serpent eating its own tail as a symbol of the eternal return.
Eternal return.
Eternal return. Called the Ouroboros, a snake curving around with its tail in its mouth, eating itself, is an obvious emblem of unity of the cosmos, of eternity, where the beginning is the end, and the end is the beginning. Also on the Cryosopia is an inscription in a double ring, this describing the Ouroboros. One is the serpent, which has its poison according to two compositions. And one is all, and through it is all, and by it is all, and if you have not all is nothing.
What? What?
Pat, $400 for what? Wait, is that how you, what is what?
What is what? What am I?
I'll do 400 for what is what.
So I'm imagining the Ouroboros, the snake devouring and being devoured. And then...
This reminds me of the Big Bang and why we think there's a beginning. Mm-hmm. And if it's seemingly like there really isn't one.
Well, we've gotten so caught up in the fourth dimension, like the rationality of time and how it affects everything. Everything deteriorates, everything grows, everything lives, everything dies because of time. But maybe time is not as linear as we think, like beginning, end.
No.
Maybe the time that we experience is just, it's a symptom of being close to matter and energy, or being made of matter and energy. It's like, this is a quality of being made of this stuff, so we can't exist without it in this form. But perhaps if we were to change forms, or like lose our physical body, then we could exist outside of time, because we don't have mass anymore. And can you experience time if you don't have mass? Just,
no,
I'm
maybe
thinking
not.
about like general...
Because mass is what's changing, and change and entropy is how we measure time.
But it's also like the proximity to like a large object.
Yes, I remember.
And like special relativity in that way.
Understanding that concept for a brief moment, because they talked about space travel and why if you travel to space, you're younger than...
It's like time dilation and the twin paradox. Like if you're closer to the center of gravity, then time goes slower.
Do you notice some days time is actually going slower? And they've mentioned that because they have the atomic clock, and some days it is actually moving at different rates. And clocks like Big Ben. Big Ben?
Big Benjamin.
Is that what it's called?
That fucking clock over there in the UK?
It's at a different time, because time that's further up is, I believe, slower.
Oh.
Because faster? Okay,
I thought it was slower down in the valley and faster up in the mountain. But we're going to need somebody to fact check that real quick. I don't know. I
didn't come prepared for the time talk.
I only think about time when I promised somebody I would do something at a specific time. Like if I have a cooking class and I'm like, oh shit, I gotta get all my stuff prepped up. Like how long is it gonna take me to be at the grocery store? How long is it gonna take me to drive? And then as far as like planning in the future, like what's your 5-year plan? What's your 10-year plan? I don't know. I feel like I have a general idea of what I want to be doing. I want to be cooking. I want to be eating. I want to be laughing. I want to be dancing.
Okay, scientists prove that time passes quicker at a higher altitude. So.
Okay, so it moves faster.
Yes. And the Big Bend is off by. Big Bend is off by 6 seconds. That was my preliminary research.
Oh, wow, that was good. I wonder how time is passing here. Man, shut the front door.
It feels a little slower. I've been up for a long time.
Yeah, how's your sleep?
Same.
She doesn't sleep much, folks.
No, that's okay.
No, she doesn't need sleep. It's not like her body functions require any rest.
Well, you change. You adapt. I remember midwives telling me that. They're like, it might seem impossible right now, but your physiology will change when you have kids.
It's like the brain's plasticity, perhaps.
Yes. Like when you're addicted to porn. That's like the number one thing they talk about with brain plasticity are people who are addicted to porn and how it actually physically changes your brain.
Can you change it back?
Yes.
What does it take?
I don't remember.
You have to look at pictures of dogs, like really wholesome pictures
really
of dogs.
Insane pictures of people clothed. You actually just have to put clothes
really into
on
fashion.
people.
You look at a lot of sartorial blogs. You go to Paris Fashion Week and you're cured. You don't want to see people naked anymore. You love the clothes.
Nope, you've seen the light.
You've seen the light. Damn. Bagadak.
We've got 12 minutes left, mate.
Was there anything you wanted to hit?
I hit it all. It was all very dark, and I had a realization that when you leave, things get dark.
Oh, no.
It's also part of this, I need it to be sunny now. Like,
I
came down
Seasonal
here.
affective disorder.
I came down here for sun. I remember being in Minnesota and talking to a doctor and then talking to a psychologist. And they're like, we've got the perfect thing for you. Here's a sun lamp.
Go cook your skin.
I was like, a lamp? Like a lizard?
Yeah.
On a
like
heat
a
rock?
jub on a big flat rock. Did it help?
You're supposed to tell me to move to the beach.
Well, we could move to the beach.
It did not help. It made things a lot worse. It made me feel like like I was in a zoo and this was the leaves painted on the wall.
Well, couldn't you turn that into a fun game?
When you're alone, I was like, no friends, no one around. No.
I hate that.
Part of it is that.
I wish I knew.
I'm ready for spring.
What year was that?
2008, 2009.
Oh, I was going through some shit too at that time.
Yeah, I'm sure. That's a hard period for anybody.
I guess. Yeah, that was when I got my appendicitis and it was misdiagnosed as a tumor on my right ovary.
And where was the lawyer to whisper in your ear? Sue them for everything they got.
I don't know. It's all very fuzzy to me because my family was also going through my brother going to prison or, this huge thing, this huge bombshell blow up thing. And it's just like Karen's rapid fire things happening to her, disrupting her flow. This was like a total rug pull out from under me period of my life. So I think maybe we weren't thinking about suing the doctors because we were trying to figure out how to get a lawyer to help my brother or something like that.
You could have sued them and used the money to pay for a lawyer for
Coulda, shoulda, woulda, huh?
It wouldn't.
No, I think my mom asked me if I wanted to sue, and I was all hopped up on morphine and watching diners, drive-ins, and dives for like a week straight in the hospital, and I was like, I don't want to sue. I don't want to. I was thinking about pacifism, trying to create harmony in the world. trying to be the peace that I wanted to see. And I guess I'm a sucker. But they expunged all my bills. I owed them like 40 grand and then I didn't have to pay it. So that's like being paid.
Well,
they were going to charge
fucked
me
you
over and then they didn't charge me for it. So
they cut you open for 40 grand. Parts of you that didn't need to be charged or cut rather. And then, yeah, you shouldn't have to pay for that.
And then I paid sideways for the next 3.5 months.
Wait, for real?
Oh yeah, but how far into this detail should I go? It was like, because I have it's like a 6-inch cesarean slice across my abdomen. So all my abdominal muscles were severed, like happens to a lot of women who are having a C-section, but I didn't have a baby. And so healing from that, I guess there was like 2 layers of sutures. There was like sutures in the musculature, and then they left open like the top fleshy skin bits for a week because it was like septic, and they had like this thing pulling out all the goop. Anyway,
so why did they
when they put it all back together, it was just like not straight. It was like it's just not even. I think when they cut it open, it was like not done well. So then when they closed it all up,
is this? Don't go there, ladies and gentlemen.
UVA hospital.
Don't go there.
It's a learning hospital.
Yeah, please don't.
So they must have had somebody who wasn't licensed, behind the scalpel there.
Yeah.
But I still run and jump and kick and stretch.
I was about to say, with my C-section scars, it's hard to do those things a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I'll sneeze or cough if I'm laying down, and it fucking hurts.
Yeah.
Like, oh, God, what was that? So something didn't get put back together right.
Right.
But glad to be alive. I like to think that if I was born in any other century, I'd be dead. I would already be dead.
Yes.
But here 100%. I am, fully alive.
Yeah, what'd they do? Do they just pour beans in your mouth if you were having appendicitis?
I don't know.
You know what they say? You just put a handful of beans in her mouth and then...
Give her some beans. She needs milk.
She needs milk. Oh, is she horny? Give her milk.
She needs some milk. That was another recurring theme this weekend from things that we watched. Like, there were glasses of milk everywhere. I guess
milk was a big... It depends on what decade these movies... Like, the 90s were milk all the time.
Milk heavy 90s. A lot of dairy lobbyists getting into special interests.
That's a whole nother topic. That's a whole nother topic, because we could seriously talk about all the milk wars that were...
Oh, man. And I fucking hate that... Like, the dairy industry is based on like raping and like,
dude, I told this,
like, kidnapping children from cows. Like, I love cheese so much, and dude, I don't want it to be this way.
Give up cheese. I just can't. I just gotta find.
Can we find good cheese, like humane cheese?
Yeah, there's tons of humane cheese out there. Like, I told my mother-in-law, like, hey, yeah, this is rape juice, and she looked at me and I was like, I mean, we were in Costa Rica. And the babies were, a day old, the cows.
And they already separated them?
No, we separated them. We need the milk. And you're like, but do they get any?
Like, they need it to like, build their bodies, don't they? Like, it was intended for them.
Well, and to me, like, the difference, my dad and I, we'd have these big arguments. That's a whole nother thing. And I was like, the difference between you and me is I'm not shocked.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah. There's an element of shock, I think, when you've never thought about those things before, that can turn into anger. And I'm just like, really?
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I haven't given up cheese yet. I'm thinking about it because I had a lot of good vegan substitutes. But, I don't know. It's always been difficult for my brain to eat, like, meat or dairy substitutes that are made from other things. I always thought it would be better to just like eat nuts, eat fruit and veg.
I will never understand trying to replicate a bloody patty. I'm like, well, isn't this what
if you want to eat meat? Should you just eat meat?
Yeah.
I mean, that said, I'm trying to keep an open mind, and I had these really good plant-based meatballs this weekend. So I
Just
don't know,
don't,
man.
it's got to be its own thing. Don't try, I don't like it when it's trying to be something it's not.
But I do like it when it makes people eat less meat.
Yeah.
And, less murder.
But is it good for you is like another question.
Great question. I don't know. It fucking tastes good.
Tastes good. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Feeding our bodies is a whole thing. Lucas and I were talking about this earlier. Actually, what time is it? It looks like we have 4
minutes left.
4 minutes left. Well, shit, dude. I feel like we talked the whole time, but I don't remember what we talked about.
Doesn't matter. What matters is that you can send us questions, comments, concerns to cosmicturd69@gmail.com.
Send us your questions, nerds. Well, our email is cosmicturd69@gmail.com. It's COSMICTURD69. Because we're going to help you process that cosmic turd and push it through your soul sphincter.
We're
and
here
that's
to hold
all I'm
your
going to
hand.
say about poop.
Yeah, sorry.
The whole
Yeah,
thing,
no,
okay?
We got to be mature.
Golly. Everybody poops. Isn't there a
I
book?
guess no one wants to talk about it.
That's fine. That's fine. We don't have to talk about it. Your dirty little secret.
I guess I'll just act our age.
No. What's your age, Whitney?
How old am I? I forget this. I'm 32.
She's
going
32.
to be 33.
She's a baby. She's just a
do.
little baby with a
I want to be
baby.
50. I don't want to be. I'm done with this.
Well, don't wish time away. That's fully. I'm 33, by the way, if you're wondering. I'll be 34 in November.
And we spent your birthday on the beach eating
I know. Are we going to go back? Because I need to go
pizza.
see my family for Thanksgiving this year, I think.
I didn't have any plans. I wanted to go back a lot sooner than Thanksgiving.
Yeah, let's do that. I would love that.
Okay, we're going to go to Costa Rica now, everybody.
So we'll see you in Costa Rica.
We can live stream from there.
Yeah, why not? I want to learn how to surf.
I want to learn how to surf too. That'd be fun.
We're going to surf together in Costa Rica and eat more gallo pinto.
Oh, fuck. I love how disgruntled Aaron was by
How much we love that restaurant.
but how vindicated John Paul was.
Yeah.
We're like,
He was like, I told you it was good. I told you it was the best.
we had the one place that Aaron likes to go for breakfast. Once. Actually, you never ate there.
The juice thing?
Yeah.
I didn't really get it. It was like, I thought it was just going to be, I thought it was going to be something different. But John Paul described Rosie's pretty well. It was exactly what I wanted it to be.
It was so good. We couldn't stop but go there every day. And Aaron's like, it's fucking rice and beans.
But it's perfect. It's like your foundation for the day. Rice, beans, cooked with onions and
Plantains.
peppers. Nicely spiced, not spicy, not hot, but just like redolent with a little bit of cumin and like the salsa Lizano that they use, which if you're from Nicaragua, you hate. But anyway, eggs, bacon,
What was the
plátanos,
green
fritos,
salsa that they kept in that
some
blend?
kind of
God, that shit was
salsa
so good.
that ripped. Oh man, I'm fucking hungry.
We're gonna go eat right now.
We're gonna go eat. Oh my God. Thanks for watching and listening.